Hello everybody, my name is Walter, and today I want to show you how you can build my simple 12-block wide and infinite expandable ceiling block shifter and block swapper for Minecraft Java Edition. Now in case you're looking for a showcase or virtual, you can find both linked in the description. But let's get started with the size of the entire build. Now this is a modular build. Each module is as a standard 3 blocks long. I will show you during the tutorial what you have to do to the first and or last module if the total length of the swappable part you're going for is not a multiple of 3. But the standard size is basically the number of modules times 3 plus 1 for the control circuitry in length, 18 blocks in width, and the whole thing is 7 blocks high, including the ceiling. This is true for both versions. Now, if you want to build this, I'm going to start by building the shifter and then later on upgrade it into a swapper. That case, if something goes wrong, you don't have to rebuild as much. Now, with that said, let's have a look at the results. So, to just build the control circuitry for the shifter, you're going to need obviously building blocks, then 2 slabs, 12 redstone dust, 3 repeaters, 7 observers, 2 normal pistons and 3 sticky pistons, a single button as an input. Then, if you want to upgrade to a swapper, you're going to have to add 13 slabs, 8 redstone dust, a single repeater and comparator, a node block, composter, and then you will need something to get at least 1 layer in there, and a lever. And then finally for every module, so every 3 by 12 of swappable ceiling, you're going to need 3 slabs, 23 redstone dust, 4 repeaters, 25 observers, 9 normal pistons, 51 sticky pistons, 4 node blocks, 2 hoppers, and then also 2 levers. And with that all covered, it's time to show you how to build the shifter and the swapper. Now the first step is building our first module. For that, start by marking the 12 block wide and 3 block long strip of the ceiling that you want to shift around or swap out. Once we have that, we need to go above by 4 blocks. And that is where we need a row of 12 observers facing down. Like this here. Then at the first and last, we need a block in the front with a lever on top, which will redirect the wire that we are placing on top of all those observers. And then the next step is putting in some pistons, and those are with a 1 high gap below those. And in the middle we have our 12. Just as you would expect it to be. Now before we continue, a quick word about the length of the build. So these modules, as you can see, will be 3 blocks long. If you need a total length that is not a multitude of 3, you will have to leave out parts. If it's just one less than that, then you can leave out the last slice of the last module as a whole. If it's one less than even that, then you would do this for the last module. And then for the first module, you just leave out this row of pistons here in the first slice, but build the rest. So this would mean the first module would be just 2 blocks long, and then the last module would also be just 2 blocks long. So, but anyway, let's put in the rest of those pistons here. Next, let's go to the right side. And here in the ceiling, go 2 blocks out and then 1 up. And that is where we need our 3 sticky pistons with observers looking at them from the top. Then on top of those, we have normal pistons. And then on top of those, we have more observers, this time running towards the inside. Then on the outside, we have node blocks on the outside and then a hopper in the middle. Redstone wire on top of the hopper. Then blocks on top of the node blocks and on top of the wire. Then we have an upside down slab here with some wire on top, also some wire there, and a 4-tick repeater here. This repeater is only 4 ticks for the first module. All other modules will have this on 1 tick. Then finally a block next to this redstone cross there. And then we can place our 3 sticky double piston extenders like this here. Then over here, let's place blocks in a little U shape like this here, with another block placed there. Wire on top of those two blocks, and a 1 tick repeater in this spot there. Following that, let's go to the left side where we're going to build almost the same. So again, we go in the ceiling 2 blocks out and then 1 up. And that is where this time we have our normal pistons. And the sticky pistons are 2 blocks higher. The observers also change direction. So once again, they are from the sticky pistons to the normal pistons. So facing upwards or going down. Then we have again our 3 observers on top. Now at the back, we have first a cross of 5 blocks like this, with a 1 tick repeater there, and 2 redstone crosses there. Then we have our 2 node blocks and the hopper in the middle, wire on top of the hopper, blocks on top of the node blocks and on top of the wire. Then again our upside down slab with the wire. Then a block next to the wire, and then we have first our layer of sticky pistons, and then for the double piston extender a layer of normal pistons. And that is pretty much all of the mechanics. So now next step is putting in the blocks we want to cycle around. Like in this here, for example. Now before I get to the details, there are a few things I forgot earlier. So for one, we need another 4 tick repeater in this corner and some wire there. This again is only 4 ticks for the first module. For all following, this will be on 1 tick. And I also forgot the interconnection for this line here. So we go to the third observer on the left. Add an observer running directly into the wire, which will temporarily displace a couple blocks down there. Then place an upside down slab there. And some wire here, which should correct those blocks again. Now, let's talk about those blocks in the loop. So in total, we have 26 blocks, which fits perfectly with 2 full sets of 12 blocks and then a block separating them on each end. Please note, those blocks here are directly in front of the non-sticky pistons and not the sticky pistons. I also added the rest of the ceiling so you can see how everything fits together. And yeah, with that said, it's time for the main controls. So for that, we are going to start with a sticky piston next to this outer one there. Then put an observer to the face. Normal block behind this repeater. Redstone dot on top. Then 2 observers on top of that, running into a full block. Then we have a full block to the side and 1 more down. Wire here. A 2 tick repeater there. This runs directly into a normal piston with 2 blocks to the face, which should retract in this ceiling here. Then we have on the other side something very similar. So we have our sticky piston, observer, then the block, and this time we don't need to turn it into a dot. Then our 2 observers, and now just a block on top, nothing else. Then block and upside down slab, block and upside down slab, and then we go a layer down into the future ceiling, and that should be 6 blocks in total length. Then 3 tick repeater there, 3 tick repeater there, and then just connecting everything with some wire. Finally, let's add another sticky piston going in this direction with an observer going up. Then diagonally to that a block, diagonally in the other direction another block, redstone cross there, and then a normal piston there. And that's pretty much all. So this here is our input. So let's put our button there and press it. And what we would see is every time we press the button, the whole ceiling here shifts 1 block. Then we can put in the rest of this glass here at the ceiling level. And now we just need to copy those modules a few more times. And for this example, I went with 4 modules in total. So we have a nice 12 by 12 block area that is now being shifted around. And with that, it's time to show you how you can turn the shifter into a swapper once you're sure everything works properly. For that, I've made a little copy over here. And the first step is just stripping out parts of the control circuitry. So we start with this part here controlling this piston. The same for this piston here. And then also this entire center segment here. So we are in the end just left with the 2 opposing pistons and those 2 bookends. Next step is modifying the first module, and for that we need to first tell the modules where to stop with the swapping, and that is easily done by adding those 2 observers inside of the cornerstones between the actual swaps of the ceiling. Next step is control circuitry. So we start, in this case, in front of the observer. Place a full block. Then we have an upside down slab. Then we have a whole lot of those to the other side until we are again at the third to last block, where we have a normal block and then another upside down slab. Then we can place some wire here, and that will redirect or cause some issues. So we'll have to make sure those blocks here are actually retracted. Over here with the non-sticky pistons, it doesn't really matter too much. Then we have one tick repeaters and then wire in between. Over here, we need the node block on top of the repeater, observer on top, then wire on top, and then a lever here to redirect the wire into this linear form. Now, over here, this piston here is our new input. So for now, I'm just going to place a block here with a button. Then we need an upside down slab, one to the right there, wire on top. And that has redirected or removed some blocks from the proper position. So let's just quickly correct that, or you might manually just move the blocks back in position. Then let's go with a sticky piston next to the upside down slab, composter on top. Then we need one layer at least inside of the composter. Can be more, but it's not necessary. We are also going to need now a block here with a, wait, that's a bit too low. Block next to the composter with a comparator in subtract mode on top. Then we have first a lowered and then a raised block. And then around the corner we have the blocks like that. Put some wire in this spot and then this spot. Then cut them off here and there. For tick repeater. The tick repeater. And now we're almost done. All that's left is adding a sticky piston going down with an observer also going down. And if we've built everything correctly, we just need to now press the button. That should retract it and start the shifting. And once this here has shifted halfway through, it should automatically stop, as you can see here. And with that, we've reached the end of this tutorial for my infinitely expandable 12 block wide ceiling block shifter and block swapper. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. I wish you a nice day, and well, see ya.